So it's your turn to write a blog entry. That's great. This is a video explaining how to do that. More specifically, this is an explanation for students in my graphic novel class. So what actually is a blog entry? Well, a blog entry is a web page, which means that it can involve multiple media used simultaneously, and that it should use hyperlinks wherever possible to link to other content on the web. It should be interesting to a general reader. Just think of the kind of thing you'd be interested in reading. And in terms of the writing, it should be detailed, but it does not have to be formal. Finally, it just needs to be relevant to the class in some way. A blog entry is not an essay that simply happens to be on the web. That means it's going to be more than words. It should use images, it should use video if possible, and it should definitely use links to go beyond just text. Keeping in mind that I want these posts to be interesting, a title like blog entry number 1 is not interesting. A better title is one that suggests what the post is going to be about, but it leaves a question in the reader's mind so they're motivated to click the link and read the post. And finally, just to be clear, a blog entry is not a Google Doc. And finally, just to be clear, a blog entry is not a Google Doc is not a blog entry, neither is a Word document. Those are fine platforms for writing essays, but that's not what we're doing here. For the blog in this class, we're going to be using WordPress. WordPress is a very popular tool for creating websites. It's a content management system, which just means that it's an application or some software that makes it a lot easier to put content on the web. More specifically, we're going to be using this website here, marywashacomics.net. This has WordPress installed, and it's set up as a group blog with a legacy of posts going back for several years of this class. Think of it as a publication with articles, like a magazine. So, how do you use this website? Let me switch into screen recording mode and I will show you. When you're ready to post your blog entry, the first thing you're going to need to do is log into the website. And you can do that by going to the main URL and then typing wp-admin to bring up the login screen. This is a username and password that will be generated by the site, and you should already have it before it is your turn to create a blog post. I'm just going to log into my account. My dashboard is going to look more robust and complicated than yours because I'm the site administrator, but yours should be pretty similar in terms of the things that you need to do with it, and that is create a post. And that can be accessed a couple of different places. You can hit the plus new button up here and then post, or you can go to the left where it says post and go to add new. Either way you get there, it's going to look like this. And this is the post editor. As you can see, the first thing it's prompting me to do is write a title, so I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Remember, we do not want to write generic titles like this one, so no. Instead, write something kind of catchy, maybe something a little bit clickbaitish, something like 12 reasons why Bruce Wayne is cooler than Elon Musk. I don't know. I don't really know if I could come up with 12 reasons, but that's certainly like 10 probably. But whatever the case, that's my title. And then down here is where you can start writing text. Now, this text editor in WordPress is different. It has changed in the last 3 or 4 years now, and I'm still not used to it. It has this whole block concept, and so as you can see, I started typing here, and it wants to make this a classic paragraph block, as it calls it. And I find this whole interface honestly pretty awkward. But I think if you get used to it, it's fine. You can add different kinds of blocks, and that's pretty cool. You can do markdown syntax, which is something I like to write with. You can do quotes, you can do the classic thing, you can do tables, you can do images, and you definitely should do images. In fact, let's try an image out just to see how that looks in this process here. Okay, so it creates a little block which has become kind of an upload widget. So let's do it this way. Let's upload an image. Let's see what I can find on my computer to upload. Okay, so let's say this is the image I want to insert there, and it just puts it there in the middle. And this is a true story. Yeah, there are some basic formatting options, but you should always write a caption for your image. And you should also always make sure to add an alt attribute, and I'm unfortunately not seeing how to do that right now, but it's very important, so I will figure it out. Okay, so it looks like the alt attribute is something you can set over here if you click on the gear icon at the top right and you pull out all of the block options and settings. So this is where we can add some alt text. And you should always add alt text. This is a meme of someone getting slimed with the macro text, me getting sanitizer from the pump bottle. This is for readers who might not be able to see this image, and also for screen scrapers and other things that might be trying to process the content here in some ways. So good enough. That's an image. You should have at least one image in the content area of your post. You've got a lot of other different kinds of block types. I really just encourage you to explore these and see what they do. Try them out. If they do something weird, you can always delete it. But there's quite a lot of things you can do in terms of formatting and also embedding different kinds of content. So if you have a video that's relevant to your post, definitely embed it from YouTube. If you have a tweet, definitely embed it from Twitter. And these buttons will take you through different workflows to get that done and put it in there. Now, if you've already written your post and it's in a Microsoft Word document or something like that, it should copy and paste pretty well into this editor. Just make sure you check out the formatting, make sure it actually looks right. So if you, this is more Muslim text, I'll just copy this in here and, paste it down here, and it looks okay. In fact, this one included it all as a paragraph, as a single classic paragraph block, but if you pretty much click anywhere, it should do a pretty good job of trying to fit it in here. It's pretty smart this way. Okay, now this is the main way of writing this. It should also have a link. Make sure you make something a link. It's always better to make some part of your text that you've already written a link to something. So you can link to several things here. If I were actually writing about Elon Musk, I probably would link to his Twitter. I'm not, but it's pretty simple. You just type whatever the URL is that you want people to visit when they click on your link. And this, by the way, is far superior to, let's say, just typing a URL in the middle between paragraphs. This is the wrong way to do it. This is bad, bad style, bad writing style. So don't do that. In fact, yeah, it looks ugly. And sometimes if you paste in a URL, it'll actually embed a preview of the website, which I find even more awkward. So I don't like that. Use some text you've already written, make that a link. Okay, now over here on the right, if you look at the gear icon, you can pop out different options. And these are right now options for this block. This is the paragraph block. But there are some important things you need to set as options for the whole document. First of all, you need to make sure that this is in a category. These used to be much more strictly controlled, but they got a little bit out of hand. I would just say find whichever one makes the most sense. If you don't know, just go with article. But tags are much more free form. So this is something where you just type your keywords, the things that you think people might be searching for or might be interested in. And I don't know why that Batman just disappeared. Bruce Wayne? Oh, it's trying to autocomplete this way. Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps disappearing. Oh, it is. It's disappearing and then coming back. So I don't know why, but that's how it works. And the next thing you definitely need to do is set a featured image. And this is very important because that's going to be what determines how your post appears on the homepage of the website. So click Set Featured Image and choose an image. It could be one you've already used, like this one I just uploaded, or it could be anything actually that's already uploaded to the site, which is quite a lot. I'm going to set this one just because, and then that's going to show up on my post. Now I'm going to hit Preview and take a look at what it looks like on the website with the formatting. Let's see here. Okay, that looks fine, I guess. And we can see my text showed up the way I expected it to, and everything looks pretty good there. I've got my category, my tags over there, and I've got the ability for people to leave comments if they want to. So that's good. I'm looking pretty good here in terms of the technical parts of this, and I think I'm actually done with this post. So I'm ready to turn this in. In Canvas, when you're ready to submit the assignment, you will see an option to submit by website URL, and that's what you should use. However, there's something to make sure to take a note of. This is the URL that I was looking at just now for the preview, and actually I can tell by looking at it that it's a preview because it has the word preview equal in it. It has the word preview in it, and it says preview equals true. So this is the preview. This is not the public version of this post. In fact, there is no public version of this post because I have not yet published it, and that's what you need to do here. I'm not actually going to publish this one because I don't want to because it's not really a post. But this is a real post, and this is one that has been published, and this is the URL that this author would need to submit. So notice that's the public URL. You can tell by the fact that it says marywashingcomics.net. There's nothing here about admin or preview. It is simply a straightforward URL with some keywords related to the post. So Control A, Control C, whatever you'd like to do, paste that here, and then submit it, and you are good to go. If you submit the preview link, I will not be able to see it, actually. It will just show up with a message saying I'm not allowed to preview unpublished posts. So please don't do that. Please make sure you submit it correctly. If you do it wrong, I will just kind of follow up and ask you to resubmit it correctly, but it is important. Now that I've given you a quick demonstration of the technical parts of posting a blog entry, you might be wondering what should you write a blog post about. The best way to get ideas is probably to read other people's posts. And this is a little bit cliche, but basically pay attention to the things that you're interested in reading and interested in reading about, and write the kind of post that you would like to read. But as I always say, in terms of the topic, it can be just about anything as long as it's somehow relevant to comics. You could write about movies based on comics, or a specific artist's style that you particularly enjoy, or other examples of visual culture on the internet. Or you could explore different ways that comics have addressed an important issue. Or you could speculate about a potential webcomic. Or you could write about how new platforms are being used for comics. Or you could write about an interesting thing you discovered or experienced about comics. Again, there are just so many options and possibilities that I'm sure whatever idea you have in mind is probably great. If you feel like running it by me ahead of time anyway, you're welcome to, but I am almost certainly going to say, yeah, that's a good idea. At most, I might have a few suggestions to clarify or limit the scope of it, but I would say go ahead and write it even without asking for permission. So go ahead, have fun, and as always, let me know if you have any questions. And don't forget to share your work in Discord. We have an audience on the web, but the primary audience for this writing really is each other. So make sure you share it with that audience by talking about it in Discord. That's it. Thanks for watching.